Well, it's a firewall. It's made out of steel and it goes between the driver and passenger and the engine, and that's going to help a whole lot with noise and heat and all that good stuff. It's painted. Well, it's all one color anyway, because I'm certified as a painter. Anyway, I'll show you a little bit of how I did this and all that stuff. If you're interested in watching, here it is. Well, I sat down to make this video and I realized I forgot something. It's supposed to be a wiring harness goes through the upper part of this firewall, and well, somehow or another I completely forgot about it. So I guess I'll be going back and putting some holes in this firewall after I've already painted it. All right, get ready to start the camera and the air conditioner cuts on. First world problems, I guess. Well, originally this panel was going to run straight out to the quarter glass, but after looking at it, I decided that that was going to leave too much of a blind spot here. I mean, it was going to block, 3 feet of your view out the quarter glass when you turn your head and look. So I've decided I'm going to run these panels back at an angle so you can see the full quarter glass and not have such a large blind spot. Initially, I thought this panel would have to curve like this and be matched into this. Once I laid my flat bottom piece in here and I put 2 straight pieces of cardboard along here and here, I realized that this panel could just be mostly flat with just a little slight bend in on it right here. And well, from there, you know the drill. The drill? Why the drill? Yes, I know him, but we'll be using a hole punch for this job. Cardboard cutouts made in multiple pieces so that they're easier to work with. And then you take the whole piece, lay it on a big sheet of cardboard, cut out the actual shape and transfer it to sheet metal, weld it in place, and bam, you're done. Wow. It's almost like I'd done that before. That thing fits almost perfect. Needs a little tiny trim in that little curve right there. Yeah, HR department? Yeah. I got a guy you need to hire right away. Yes, I believe he could save us, 30 cents a month on scrap cardboard. Well, that's got it in cardboard. Now to cut it out of sheet metal and see if it still fits. All right, we've got it cut out of sheet metal. And after just a few moments of trimming and rebending and beating on it with a hammer a little bit, we actually have what I would call a fit, but it's definitely not finished yet. All right, remove it, clean up some edges, straighten out a couple of bends a little bit, tack weld it in place and see how it works. As you can see, it's an extremely simple panel, nothing complicated about that at all. Well, you get one side finished, then you can jump over to the other side. And sometimes, well, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you just get lucky. This is the template from the left side. It fits the right side perfectly, except for this little flange right here. Had to add a little bit to that. Toyota changed that just a little bit. Well, when you finally get all your parts cut out and you test fit them a few times, a few dozen times, you get to crawl inside and do a little bit of welding. Well, once you crawl inside, you realize you have the wrong glasses on. You got to change your glasses, unless you want to, of course, use bifocals and keep your head tilted all the way back so that you can actually see what you're welding. And then you crouch down and go back up inside the car, and yeah, that's why I don't have a gym membership. I don't need one working on this project. Then it's just a simple matter of weld, move the clamp, 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 weld again. Do a little walkabout. A couple of things real quick. Oh, yeah, I Can't believe how many cereal boxes I've actually thrown away, and I don't need them. I got plenty. I'm down to one. Anyway, when I did that little bit of welding, I had the fans cut off so you could actually hear the welding and stuff and not just the hum of fans. But I do have ventilation in here. The doors are pulled down, but I have a fan over here blowing out the door, and all the doors in the corner over there are open, so there's some air circulation there. I have a fan pulling air out that door, or out that window, and I have a fan actually blowing at me working in the car. If I set that on speed 1, it just barely moves enough air and the smoke hangs up. But on 2, you can see the smoke actually moving out of the car. So I do have a little bit of ventilation. If I open those doors all the way up, the sun is at the angle right now that it will shine right straight in here, and this place would get hotter than hell. Not that it's not already getting a little warm. Also, I've covered up my windows, finally. I did it a little bit too late. I doubt you can see it. Yeah, you can see it on the camera. That right there is either overspray from something that actually ate the window tint on the inside, or it's welding splatter from when I welded all the cross braces in for the firewall. But I covered them too late, but they won't get any worse. All right, on with part number 17 of welding the firewall, and well, not part number 17, but this is like step number 1754. I've got this clamped together because it's going to be rather difficult to reach down inside of here. My plan is, this isn't accurate yet, but my plan is to get this all clamped inside the car, get it set up. The window will be right here, so I'll have to reach down in here, do a couple spot welds, then pull this back out, finish spot welding along here, set it back in the car, and then weld it. Instead of plug welding all of this along here, I've decided to weld just the edge of it. That might be a little harder to weld, but it's going to be easier to get a good angle on it and not worry about trying to find a little tiny hole way back in this corner when it's mounted in the car. The rest of it shouldn't be too bad. Spot welds all the way along here that I can see. And then up inside, when this is put in the car, the window will be right here. And I'll have to get these two spots welded up inside the car overhead, not being able to see real well, but it shouldn't be too bad. Whoop, almost forgot about this. I got to weld these little plugs in place. And this is the biggest reason for welding this outside of the car, because you can't get clamps through here to reach this to clamp this seam together as you do the plug welds. It's welded, it's seam sealed, and I am not a painter, but it's time to paint. Well, I'm not a welder either, but that didn't stop me from doing that. All right, I have more fans today than I've ever had. Got to keep a little airflow through here so I don't die. I decided to do the top half with epoxy primer, respirator and all that good stuff. Long sleeve shirt, 90 degrees. Let me cut off some fans. You can probably hear a little bit better now. Well, I think I'm going to call this color No See It Black, because it is just a kind of semi-flat black and it just disappears. No reflected light. But it's all painted. It's all one color. It's very hard to keep a wet edge on that many contours and stuff, especially when, well, you're not really that good at painting. But it don't look bad. It's got a firewall in it now. Oh, and I was supposed to mask off that so it didn't get overspray on it down there, but I didn't have it masked off and I didn't want to stop painting. So, yeah, it's got a little overspray. Looks a little flat, but hey, it's a firewall. And all the plastic is mostly to cover the windows. I'm a little too late on these back windows. They kind of got oversprayed, welding splattered, but they're covered now so they won't get any worse. And I found a good way to hold this plastic on. I had a bunch of these little rare earth neodymium or whatever they call them, magnets that I ordered a long time ago and found a use for them finally. All right, well, it's got a firewall in it. Well, it's about 95% finished, I suppose. Most of the hard stuff's done. I still got to put a hole through it to put a shifter cable in. Other than that, what's there is there. A couple little corners to patch up. And a hole to add that at the time of this video, I didn't even realize I had forgotten. Oh well. But I'm going to call it a success. Limited success, but it is a success. I'll take that. All right, doors are closed. AC is on. Time to do a little bit of cleaning up. Show you a little idea I had here. Bent a little piece of sheet metal, put a magnet underneath it. That thing is razor sharp. Yikes. Yeah, clean the sharp edges off the things that you make, because you never know when you're going to try to pick them up like a dumb. So even if it's just a piece of scrap metal for temporary use, deburr it. You never know when some dumb is going to try to pick it up. Anyway, so I like to dip the paint out of the can with a small mixing cup, smaller one than this, but it keeps it from dribbling down into the lip of the can, makes the can easily resealable, keeps the mess on the outside of a can to a minimum. Worked for me. All right, this time, try remembering what you're going to say. All right, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.